Hey folks, we're excited to be talking about endurance for the month of February. And one of the reasons that I enjoy talking about the character trait of endurance so much is because it's something that we all can cultivate. Doesn't matter how gifted we are or how articulate or how strong we all can grow with a heart of endurance and persistence. Today, I would like to share a few ideas on what we parents can do to help cultivate that sense of growing endurance in the lives of our kids. First of all, I would suggest to you that in part, endurance is a grace gift from God. We see throughout different times of church history when there was increased persecution, God seemed to also give an increased grace to forbear or to endure those seasons. And so the first thing we should do for our kids is to cry out that God would give them a real heart of persistence, that God would grow that supernaturally by His power. Secondly, we also can help increase a sense of endurance by teaching our kids the need of it. They need to know that in this political and spiritual climate, they're going to have some persecutions in life. As a matter of fact, John 16 says that in this life you will have tribulation. 2 Timothy 2:3, endure hardship as a good soldier of Jesus Christ. Acts talks about those who live godly in Christ Jesus will suffer persecution. And so if our kids know these things are coming, they might have a greater sense that, hey, I've got to really work in this area of persistence so I don't fall in that day. A third thing we can do to help increase the idea of endurance in our kids' life is to know that the idea of endurance, persistence, is not just taught, it's also caught. In other words, what do our kids see in our lives? Do they see us giving up easily when we maybe hit a problem, if we're working on an engine or if we're trying to fix the sink? Do they hear us say, oh, I just can't get this, I'm going to quit? Or do they hear us say, somehow, some way, we'll figure this out? Or such verbiage as, oh, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So our kids know you hang in there no matter how big the fight is. Hope that makes sense. Also, I would encourage us to talk about endurance from a positive mindset, not a negative. And by that I mean when our kids demonstrate some type of endurance, that we brag on them. For instance, my oldest son has done a great job the last 2 to 3 years of working out, very consistent. And I often tell him the persistence and the forbearance, the endurance that you've shown here with your working out will also serve you well in your schoolwork, in your marriage, and your vocation in the future. And so we want to reinforce that from a positive perspective rather than waiting for them not to show endurance and we get on to them, if that makes sense. Those who have little ones, you could just walk around the block, and if your son or daughter makes it the whole way, you can brag on them saying, wow, you really showed endurance there. And that might sound cute and fun, but I want to guarantee you that's going to get down into his spirit the more opportunity you have to share that very thing. I would also encourage you to expose your kids to those who endured through biographies and autobiographies, sitting around the table talking about maybe great men of history. I just read today where Lincoln said of Grant that he was like a bulldog. Once he got a hold of something in his mouth, he would not let go. And we can share these historic figures with our kids. And even in our decor, this is the boys' room right now that we're in, and behind us we have a picture of the Alamo that we had painted, and here's Pearl Harbor. We also have various quotes. This one's from Winston Churchill. Many of you probably will know it. Never give in, never give in. Never, 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 never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. So we want to surround our sons and our daughters with these perspectives. And the more we do that, by God's grace, the more they will seep in and help them to endure. And if they can endure, God's going to use that greatly in their futures. This is Kirk Smith with ICHE's Take 5.